Happy International Sleep Day. Ironically, I have had none. So I am not exactly my shining self, but I've got a box. Now, the keen-eyed among you may notice that this box is already open and I haven't got my paper. That's because I started unboxing this last night before I left work and I got about 2 books in and the phone rang. So I just stopped and I was like, right, I'll do it tomorrow when I'm shiny and bright. Absolutely knackered. And if you happen to hear music on in the background, it's because we have the bookshop dog in today and she likes the radio. If she doesn't have the radio, she comes and bothers me. So that's what you hear if you hear anything in the background. I have my cozies on because, not just because I've got no sleep and it's the closest thing to a duvet, but because this whole box, as far as I'm aware, is cozy crime. What is cozy crime? Cozy crime is Agatha Raisin expanded into the world of other authors and other characters. So if you like Midsummer Murders, Rosemary and Thyme, Father Brown, Agatha Christie, not Agatha Christie, Agatha Christie's a bit, Agatha Raisin. See, I told you, there is no brain in here. The brain is not. The brain is not there and the coffee is just not touching the side. But I shall soldier on. Oh, this one is not cozy crime. This one is The Littlest Library. And this I bought because it's about a woman who loses her job at the local library and then ends up inheriting her grandmother's house and a red telephone box and ends up making it a library. And I thought that sounded kind of cute. And we know I like cute things. Also, it's book related. How everybody that runs a bookshop doesn't just fill their entire thing with things about books and bookshops and other related paraphernalia, I have no idea, because I go, oh look, it's got books in it. Of course it's got books in it. It's a book. But it also reminded me of, for any locals around, the lovely Lady Macpherson who told me, I don't know if you see it if you ever drive out towards Laggan and Fort William, there is a sentry box. I know it's not a telephone box, but it's close enough to. And she told me years ago that she bought it a very, very long time ago when she was living in London, and they put it up outside of I think it was a primary school or a daycare or a nursery or some form of young children's establishment. And apparently the prostitutes used to use it at night to get out the rent. So there you go. That was a piece of information you didn't need. Right, so these are... Now, the other disclaimer is I've not read any of these books. I just read the synopsis on the website and went, oh, that sounds fun. So this is going to be a voyage into the unknown for all of us. These are the Honeychurch Hall series. And they have... Wake up, come on. Words. I don't have any. I have the best words. I really don't. They have little quotey things from MC Beaton on the top, which is what started me off on this train. I thought, because we all know Agatha Raisin is written by MC Beaton, and so if MC Beaton says they're good, who am I to argue? So we have Deadly Desires at Honeychurch Hall and Death of a Diva at Honeychurch Hall. And these are the perfect classic English village mystery, but with the addition of charm, wit, and a thoroughly modern touch. So there you go. Downton Abbey was yesterday. Murder at Honeychurch Hall lifts the lids on today's grand country estate in all its tarnished, give up, scheming, inbred, deranged glory. Now, doesn't that sound like something you want to read? And I had to get that one because that one's about a production of The Merry Widow. And as some of you might know, I have done my own years in amateur dramatics, long time ago now, but I just thought they sounded fun. And I think there's some more in here somewhere, but we shall find them when we get to them. Right, that is as far as I'd got. So once more unto the breach, dear friends. This Murder on a Summer's Day. Now these looked really cool. Oh, something's popped up on the screen. I'm not having a good today. These look cool. These are the Kate Shackleton mysteries. And from what I remember, I think these have got like a little bit of a 1940s vibe to them. They're vintage. They're set vintage, but I think they were written like fairly recently. Should we have a look? Whoa, there's loads. I haven't bought all of them, but nothing to say I can't. Yeah, 2013. And the paperback edition was last year. So they're contemporary, but they're based vintage. So Murder on a Summer's Day, when the India Office seek help when the India Office, everything's going to have to go slower today. When the India Office seek help in finding Maharaja Narayana. Maharaja Narayan. The universe is trolling me, I swear. Last seen hunting on the Bolton Abbey estate. They call upon the expertise of renowned amateur detective Kate Shackleton to investigate. But soon a missing persons case turns to murder. So there you go. And you will not have to try and pronounce the word Maharaja Narayan 10 times. Unless you want to read it aloud. Why am I doing this? I'm only doing this because a few of you said you like them, and I do quite like doing them, but I'm really not. Can you hear? The real irony, right, is that I put the Alexa on this morning and was like, if you say, good morning, Alexa, every day, then she's like, says good morning and gives you a random fact. And I did it this morning, and even the Alexa sounded sleepy, and she was like, it's International Sleep Day. And I just thought, great. Right, proper crime. Scottish crime. Oh, yeah! So, I'm probably the only one that doesn't know this, but these are based in St Andrews. I thought that was cool. So this is like your proper crime, but based in St Andrews. And I've got a few of them, I think. So that's Dead Still. That's The Killing Connection. And there's some more in here somewhere. But I just thought that was cool because all the crimes always set in Glasgow or Edinburgh or somewhere. And that one is St Andrews. Oh, this is cool. So this, Death Goes on Skis, Nancy Spain, is, from what I remember, I'm probably completely wrong now, Miriam Birdseye is daring, brilliant, and a long way from the ivy, as our dashing heroine, a famous review artist, takes to the slopes with her coterie of admirers. Champagne flows and a trail of gossip follows in their wake. I thought, I might be entirely wrong, but I thought the heroine was a lesbian in this one. Unless I'm thinking of a different book. I mean, it makes zero difference. I just thought it would be cool if it was. But I might have been completely wrong. Anyway, to add to it, there's an introduction by Sandy Toksvig, which I thought was kind of cool. That's really confused me. I mean, who knows? Read it and then let me know, will you? More Honeychurch Hall. Tidings of Death at Honeychurch Hall. Although that's like a mistletoe and murder at Honeychurch Hall, so that's like a Christmas one. Awesome. Dangerous Deception at Honeychurch Hall. Things are going well for Kat Stanford. Not only is her antiques business thriving, she's also got a new date, Piers Carew, Viscount Chorley, who owns the estate next to Honeychurch Hall. Unfortunately, Kat has a rival. Impossibly beautiful Cassandra Bowden Forbes is also in town, conducting valuations at the same fairs as Kat. And she has no secret of the fact that she's got her eye on Piers. There you go. I mean, I kind of just thought they were like a mix of the sort of contemporary fiction that we all know I'm obsessed with, and murders. So what isn't there to like? I'm going to start the Cozy Crime Club. And if you're not going to join in, then boo for you, because I'm going to. And I will sit there on my own and read them all. Killer Ball at Honeychurch Hall. Jeez, I bought a lot of these, didn't I? Oh, it's the antique dealer again. Are they all the antique dealer? They're all the antique dealer. How cool is that? Right. I told you I know nothing about this. Another one. Ah, right. These, Anne Granger. Now, I believe these were another one that had a connection to the MC Beaton stuff. I just bought these because I thought these sounded cool, and they've got really awesome names like Bricks and Mortality. When a dead body is found in a burnt-out Cotswold manor house, Inspector Jess Campbell has a murder inquiry on her hands. Key House has stood empty for years, but its owner... God, what are they doing with these names today? They're killing me. Gervais Crown. Gervais. Hi, my name's Gervais. Is rumoured to have been seen prior to the blaze. Could he be responsible for the fire and the tragedy that followed, or was he in fact the intended target? Yeah. I'm really not selling these today. I bought a few of those though. I think these are slightly older. I honestly don't know. I had a list as long as your arm. When I was buying these, I did another one of my scrolly things through a huge list of pretty much everything, and picked out stuff. And you read so many synopses and bits about the books and all the rest of it. I got so honestly, I reckon I had about a grand's worth of books in the list at one point, and then I had to very, very carefully cut it quite heavily down for obvious reasons. So I've read so much about so much, but I don't know. Ask me another day. Ah, yeah, look, another Kate Shackleton, Dying in the Wool. How cool is that? This is the first one. Dying in the Wool is the first novel of the Kate Shackleton series. Bridgestead is a quiet village. Yeah, look, 1922. I told you they were vintage. They're a bit more vintage than I thought in terms of setting. Pretty and remote, nothing exceptional happens except for the day when Joshua Braithwaite goes missing in suspicious circumstances, never to be heard of again. Now Joshua's daughter is getting married and wants one last attempt at finding her father. Has he run off with his mistress, or was he murdered for his mounting coffers? So there you go. I just thought that was the one that caught my eye first. This pile's getting bigger. Right, I'm slowly booking. See, if it happens in a village and it's got murder in it, I'm going to buy it. And I think there's a couple of these. This is another series, a different one. Simon Brett, A New Feathering Village Mystery. The Killer in the Choir. I'm almost certain I've bought a couple of these. What's that one? No, that's another one. No, okay. At her husband's funeral, Heather Mallet is publicly accused of his murder. But did she really kill her husband, as many residents of the sleepy coastal town of Feathering believe? To get to the heart of the matter, local amateur sleuth Jude joins the community choir. Together with her neighbour Carol, she discovers that amidst the clashing egos and petty resentments that lurk some decidedly false... I'm just going to leave. I can't even read basic words now. Anyway, it's a book about a choir and somebody's murdered somebody. And if you've ever been in a choir, as I have, you would know that that is quite statistically possible, and you would have so many bleeding suspects that you would never be able to solve it. Honestly, you have never known viciousness and passive aggressiveness than you have if you've ever done any form of amateur, probably amateur anything, but particularly amateur anything performance related. They all look like innocent little old ladies until somebody sits in the wrong seat. The Cat and the Corpse in the Old Barn. Now this one, can you see how I ended up going down a rabbit hole? Look, because that one's got recommendation by Anne Granger, who is the one that wrote Bricks and Mortality, who probably got recommended by one of the other authors. So it's all But I thought this one sounded quite cool. This one is a standalone, and it's got a 3-legged ginger cat in it. Lincolnshire this time. I thought I needed to branch out a little bit from... God, the phone's going. I don't know if you can hear any of this, but it's one of these days where I'm just going to plough on now, because if I stop, I'm never going to get going again. Rooted in Evil, another Campbell and Carton mystery. Why did I buy these? Because I feel like the ones I chose were for specific reasons, of which I can't remember what they are right now. I mean, other than the fact they sounded good, because I'm not going to buy something if it doesn't sound good. Although I did have to stop myself. There was one, and it was based in an Italian restaurant, and it was called It Cannoli Be Murder. I very nearly bought that just for the title alone, but I didn't. I was a good girl. I was a good girl. Death of an Avid Reader. See, I just think this one's got somebody called Horatio Potter. When the body of the respected Horatio Potter is found in the Leeds Library basement, the quiet literary community is suddenly turned upside down. The most puzzling case in case sleuthing history yet. I think they sound really good, I have to say. Well, I mean, I wouldn't have bought them if I didn't, did I? Would I? Murder at Honeychurch Hall. I wonder if that's the first one. I mean, yes, I think it is. I mean, we can all see it, can't we? Like, if you've ever lived in a rural place and you've ever read one of these, you like something like this, we can all see it happening. Because everybody knows everybody knows everybody's business, and there is always some reason why one person's business is encroaching on another in a way that means they might want to poison them. Or is that just me? Yeah, no, that is the first one. So that's the first one. I'm not saying I've got all of them, though it looks like I might have. But I always like to try and have the first one, because how frustrating would that be? Especially as, like, even though each of the books is an individual case, they've always got, like, overarching kind of... You don't have to read them in order, but there is always, like, little bits that it's helpful if you've read the one before. Oh, I've got a hardback. What's this one? Oh, okay. See, now what they do is if there's things that are on back order from your other orders, they stick them in. So sometimes you get like a funny one in the middle. Oh, there's something else in there. This one, The Last House on Needless Street. Oh, this, yeah. I haven't read anything this exciting since Gone Girl, says Stephen King. This sounded really interesting. You won't believe what's inside The Last House on Needless Street. This is the story of a murderer, a stolen child, revenge. This is the story of Ted, who lives with his daughter Lauren and his cat Olivia in an ordinary house at the end of an ordinary street. All these things are true, and yet some of them are lies. You think you know what's inside The Last House on Needless Street. You think you've read this story before. In the dark forest at the end of Needless Street, something lies buried, but it's not what you think. And I just thought that sounded really cool. And it's really pretty. It's all like... And it's got another one. It's another one that's got one of these feely covers. Oh, God. It's got recommendations by Stephen King, Joanna Harris, all sorts. I reckon that would be pretty good, actually. So there's that. That is proper thriller kind of stuff. That's not cozy crime. That's from another list of stuff that I've got in. I mean, I'm getting in so much at the minute because obviously trying to build up a collection. So there's stuff coming at me left, right and centre at the minute. And if anybody ever has any particular authors or anything they like, give me a shout, because I can get what you want. So I've actually had, there's one customer in particular, you know who you are, that has asked me for 2 or 3 things, and I've so far managed to get every single one. I'm not saying I could always do that, but I have so far. What's this one? All the Little Things. Oh, a taut and gripping psychological thriller about toxic families and secrets. Yeah, I think this one sounded pretty good anyway, as well. Never trust anybody, never trust yourself. Rachel and her teenage daughter Vivian moved to the countryside for a fresh start, but no one knows the truth about why they left London. When enigmatic Alex enters their lives, mother and daughter have new secrets to keep. The past is catching up with them, but when push comes to shove, what would you give up to protect your family, your home, your friends, your life? So that's another thriller. That's come off a thriller list. That's cool. If you didn't catch my last video, there's another copy of A Stash of One's Own, which is a series of writings and things about the art of stashing and crafting and knitters on loving, living with and letting go of yarn. I mean, it's so easy to do. It is so easy to do. You see a pretty ball of wool. Actually, I've got a pretty ball of wool. Do you want to see my pretty ball of wool? Because I'm knitting with something proper, actually, at the moment for once. And this is so pretty. I don't even know what I'm knitting, but literally, I saw this ball of wool and went, oh, it's so pretty. I don't know if you can see, but it's like yellow and blue and pink, and it's really pale. And as you knit it, look, it's not quite striping, but pretty much. I'm really enjoying it. Although I have also discovered on a Zoom the other day that I can't knit and talk at the same time because I keep messing up. And apparently I'm not the only one that can't do that. Also, I can do it in real life because I can talk to somebody and not actually look at them and not feel like that's really bad. But yet on Zoom, you feel like more like you really do have to look at the person. And that's when I mess up more. But it really doesn't matter. The Liar in the Library. There you go. There's another one for the Killer in the Choir. So all this one. Feathering has everything a sleepy coastal town should. A snug English pub, cosy cottages, a little local library, and the occasional murder. I think they're going to be good. I'm quite excited for those. And don't come at me because so many of them are set in English villages. Come for the authors. It's not my fault. Oh, this one, I think, is another thriller. This looked interesting. Takes one to know one. Gorgeous cover too, look. It's pink. I'm going to love it. Just a few years ago. Oh, yeah. Now this looked really cool. And I couldn't work out where it was set, whether it was set in America or whether it was set over here. I'm guessing, as one of the references is New York Journal of Books, it's set in America. But it just sounded really cool. Just a few years ago, Corey Geller was busting terrorists as an agent for the FBI. But at 35, she traded in her badge for the stability of marriage and motherhood. Life is fine. But Corey intuits that her neighbour, Pete Delaney, ostensibly a dull package designer, is hiding something. But does he really have a shady alternate life, or is Corey just desperate to add some spark to her humdrum suburban existence? She decides that the only way to find out is to dust off her FBI toolkit and take a deep dive into Pete Delaney's affairs. So I thought that sounded kind of cool. It's got a little bit more umph to it than my cozy crime, but still kind of interesting. I thought, amateur sleuth, but not amateur sleuth because she used to be FBI. So I reckon that might be quite a good one. I mean, they're all going to be good. It's just different kinds of good. Oh, cool. Yeah. My Sister the Serial Killer. Again, not even going to attempt. Braithwaite. Oyinkan? No, see, look, I'm going to mess with it. This is why I need to hear somebody say it. This looked really cool. Shortlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction 2019. And essentially it's about, I think it follows the sister. When Corradi's dinner is interrupted one night by a distress call from her sister, Ayula, she knows what's expected of her. Bleach, rubber gloves, nerves of steel, and a strong stomach. This will be the third boyfriend Ayula's dispatched in self-defense, and the third mess that her lethal little sibling has left Corradi to clear up. She should probably go to the police for the good of the menfolk of Nigeria, but she loves her sister, and as they say, family always comes first. Until that is, Ayula starts dating the doctor, where Corradi works as a nurse. Corradi's long been in love with him and isn't prepared to see him wind up with a knife in his back, but to save one would mean sacrificing the other. I thought that sounded really good. And that one's got a feely cover on it as well. So many feely covers. A medal for murder. A pawn shop robbery, a fatal stabbing, and a ransom demand. This one's set in Harrogate. That's another Kate Shackleton. That's another 1920s. I think they'll be really cool. A Matter of Murder, another Anne Granger. Campbell and Carter. 2 years ago, Miff Ferguson, hello Miff, spiffing, opted out of the rat race and, oh, it's a man. I thought they were a woman. Okay. You do you. Miff Ferguson, that's gone dark, opted out of the rat race and he's been living rough happily ever since. But as the first signs of winter approach, everything changes when he stumbles across the dead body of a young woman inside a dilapidated warehouse. Quickly realising that he's not alone and he's been spotted, Miff becomes embroiled in a game of cat and mouse with the killer, forcing him to abandon his life on the streets and take refuge in the village of Weston St Ambrose. But trouble follows him, and when another dead body is discovered, it's clear Miff is not free from danger. Right, last one. Don't know whether that's a relief for you or me or both today. Oh yeah, this is another, I think this is another proper thriller book off a different list. Beautiful cover, look at that. That's really pretty. The Fine Art of Invisible Detection. Umiko Wada. Yeah, Umiko Wada has had quite enough drama in her life. With her husband recently murdered and a mother who seems to want her married again before his body is cold, she just needs to keep her head down. As a secretary to a private detective, her work life is pleasingly uncomplicated, filled with coffee runs, diary management, and paperwork. That is, until her boss takes on a new case, a case which turns out to be dangerous enough to get him killed, a case which means Wada will have to leave Japan and travel to London. Following the only lead she has, Wada quickly realises that being a detective isn't as easy as the television makes out, and that there's a reason why secrets stay buried for a long time, because people want them to stay secret, and they're prepared to do very bad things to keep them that way. So I thought that sounded cool. And the cover's really pretty. Really pretty. I am a sucker for a hardback. I'm sorry, I just am. Fast-moving plot and a tenacious heroine. Who doesn't love a tenacious heroine? So there's that. Once again, I've completely failed to give you any prices, but you know how much paperbacks are. How much are, oh, $9.99 for the Anne Grangers. $8.99 for the Kate Shackletons. My Sister the Serial Killer is $8.99. Mrs. FBI Lady is $8.99. Those are $8.99. Who else have we got? That doesn't say. Another one that was really useful. We had one of those last time, didn't we? Oh, which one was it? There was one in the last video that I didn't have a price for because it was American. The Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I think that's $12.99, that one. Might be wrong, but I have a feeling it's $12.99. $8.99 for the Honeychurch Halls. $18.99 for the Fine Art of Invisible Detection because it's a hardback. And that probably means that the Last House on Needless Street with the nice, oh no, $12.99 for that one. And you get the nice feely cover. So there you go. You get a textural delight as well as an interesting read. Who am I and what am I doing on the internet? Because I'm not. This is going to be one of those videos I look back on and go, girl, really? Why? You should have just given up and gone home. So, yes, please let me know that I'm not the only one that is not sleeping quite right at the moment. And I'm not the only one that is carrying on anyway, probably to the detriment of myself and everybody else. There we go. So I don't know what I'm getting next. Your next video might be something completely different. I keep hinting that I might have a secret project, which is becoming less and less secret by the day, but I don't want to say anything until proper plans are fully in place. Also, I've started going to a Knit and Natter on a Monday on Zoom at 3. If you're local, the Facebook, it's the Vabs Cafe Knit and Natter. And it was really good fun, actually. So if you do any form of knitting, crochet, anything, it's free. You just do the Facebook thing and she'll send you a link. And we had quite a good laugh, actually. So there's that. I just thought I'd mention it because I quite enjoyed it. I honestly have nothing else to say. I apologise for the piss poor state of this video. All we can do is hope I do better next week.